Hi everybody, and welcome to another edition of First Person, as always sponsored by the Precision Strip Company in Minster, Ohio. A great place to work, and we always say whether you're starting or finishing a career, they may be looking for you. They're always looking for good people. Check them out online or stop by in person. The Precision Strip Company sponsors the First Person annually here on PressProsMagazine.com. One of my favorite people, and I mean that sincerely, and I'm not blowing any smoke, Chip Otten, the head football coach of the Coldwater Cavaliers, I should say with respect, the reigning Division VI champion, Coldwater Cavaliers, our guest this week. This is fun. We haven't done this for a couple years. We've done it several times. It's been a while since we've sat down, and I appreciate your time and the opportunity to visit.
Well, good. Thanks for having me. It's always fun and to get our town and our teams and some publicity, and you know, makes your program feel good that somebody's watching, and that way I guess we're being successful. So that always helps.
You've had some success. There's no question about that. And as we sit down here and talk about, you're off. I said reigning state champions, but you're off to a 4-0 start, ranked #1 in Division VI, at least according to Joe Eitel in your region. And you know, a typical start for you because, like, I'll mention this, 10,000 people last week after your game with New Bremen from outside the area were interested enough to read about New Bremen and Coldwater MAC football. And again, when you look out there, you're 4-0, you're not overly big this year, but you've got a lot of virtuosity. That's the word of the day. Because your kids do a lot of things. They got a little speed, a little savvy to them, and a little bit of experience.
Yep. So that's incredible. 10,000 people would tune in, and
it'll get bigger. It'll get bigger.
But you know, my first thought was that Coldwater has 4,500 people, and New Bremen, I'm going to throw out 3,000. I don't really know. So only 7,000 people in the two teams combined, and lots and lots of people. I guess you know those people that love high school football. You know, with over 700 schools, and there's lots of die-hard football fans out there in Ohio, which is awesome. And you like to see what's so-and-so doing, what's how's Springfield doing this year, and how's how's Archibald. Archibald, we know they got us a couple years ago, and they got their quarterback as a senior now. It's like, let's keep an eye on them, because hopefully we meet them down the road, because that means we're to, I guess, regional finals if that happens.
That's exactly what we're talking about, and the fact is, I just said, you don't have an overly big team. You had to replace some significant people in Miles' blasting game and an all-state kicker last year. I mean, I always want to mention the special team guys like Klingshern. But anyway, you had to replace some. You always have to replace people, and yet you have people who have paid their dues. You know, you mentioned to me kids that have played JV for a couple of 3 years, finally get that chance, and they're hungry for an opportunity now.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, Reese Dellinger, our quarterback, is a great example. You know, he's played JV quarterback for 2 years, and he's got his opportunity right now, and you know, he's one of those guys that you're talking about, and fortunately, you know, we do play a lot of older kids. You know, a lot of juniors and seniors. I don't think we have a sophomore starter this year. So we look at that as a positive, and if they're good enough, you know, that happens. But like you said, we like to count on those guys that have paid their dues, and it's really important to them, and hopefully that teaches those young guys, hey, you know, I could be that guy in a couple of years. So we're proud that those old guys really want to stick with the program and then pay their dues and really come in and get off to a good start this year.
Chip, throughout the course of the football season, almost every year, people who recognize us for our coverage of the MAC say, how does Coldwater and how's Marion and how do those teams do it year after year after year? Well, for the fact of the matter, I think the Coldwater way, and we just mentioned a moment ago, a lot of your kids do a lot of different things, but you also have to share a lot of athletes here. I think you mentioned to me last week you got 160 boys in the school, as opposed to at Oak Hills that you beat a couple weeks ago, and Cincinnati with 1,000. Mm-hmm. So you have to share a lot of those kids with basketball and baseball, and as you mentioned a moment ago, track and field. The importance of being able to play other sports, what's it bring to you in football?
Well, it keeps you fresh, I think, moving from sport to sport, and some of them are 2 sport guys, some of them 3, some of them play 1, but like you said, we enjoy sharing our guys. You know, there's no, if you look at those 4 sports that you talked about, Nick Fisher's a Coldwater guy. He was a 2-sport guy. Brian Harmer was a three sport starter, I think, for 3 years. Aaron Allard, our wrestling coach, I'll throw wrestling in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's a 7th grade football coach and played football for us. Mark Bruns is a track coach and our defensive coordinator. And Corey Klinke's our quarterback coach. And all of us who are coaching that went to Coldwater are all 2-3 sport guys. And we enjoy that. We like being able to share. And, you know, obviously sometimes you think, I wish that guy would get in the weight room. But no, he's wrestling right now, or he's playing basketball. And you get those different skills, and you stay competitive, and I think you maybe get stale. You know, I guess I'm a football guy, but I played baseball for Coach Brunswick and wrestled, and so I really enjoyed moving from sport to sport and just, you know, let them play and enjoy it, and you know, yeah, if you want to be successful at all those at our level, you have to share, because your best guys need to be playing multiple sports.
Yeah. We talked about Chip Otten being the reigning state champion in Division 6 for the 7th time. Your 5th time. It never gets old, though, does it?
It doesn't. You know, it's a little different each time.
Yeah.
You know, the first one, as a head coach, the first one was more relief because we had lost the 2 previous. It's like, man, I don't know if we're ever going to get back there. And then, you know, some of those when you're really, really good and you have that expectation and you know, just satisfied. But I think last year was one that I just kind of sat back and like, I'm gonna go watch all the players and watch the parents, and it was such a kind of a odd, stressful year, and it's just like, let's just watch everybody enjoy this and have fun. Joe Hewer, who has coached at several places, this was his first, and to see Joe so excited, and you know, that was, so each one's a little different, but you're right, it doesn't get old. And the hard part is you always want to get back there, and when you don't, it's disappointing and frustrating.
And the hard part is you never want to take it for granted. It brings us to the fact that, you know, of people who ask, how's the Coldwater way? Well, the Coldwater way is competition, and you've got some significant, now we're sitting here at the halfway point of the season this week, and you've got some significant work to do throughout the rest of the next 5 weeks. You've got a date with, I know, Anna coming up, and always play Marion local, and I know you welcome St. Henry, and you welcome those opportunities, because that's the forge in the fire before you get to the postseason.
Yeah, for sure. You know, you want to, you know, they're guys that you know, and they're coaches that are successful and coaches that are good guys, and the kids all know each other, so they like competing against each other and playing those tough games. And like you said, we get in the playoffs. He says, fellas, we just keep doing what we're doing, because you're not going to play anybody better than Marion Local or New Bremen or St. Henry, or, you know, depending on what year it is, Delphus or whoever it might be. You're going to have to, you're going to play those good teams, and so you get in the playoffs. You say, let's just keep doing what we do.
As fun as it was to watch you play the other night against New Bremen, and that's a good football team. You beat them 28-14, and I was very impressed with the job that Chris Schmidt's doing over there. And of course, that was a great football game to watch, as you mentioned in our game story. It was kind of fun after the fact, after the game. Somebody brought it to my attention that I mentioned Chip Otten, the grandfather, as well. That was kind of fun, and I know your family is a big part of your success here, and as everyone's is in a place like Coldwater. But that was kind of fun to see you and the little blonde-haired grandgirl.
Yeah, there's 3 of them, and of course Corey Klinke is my son-in-law. Right. So my daughter and Corey live in town, and so we get to see the little girls all the time. And so there's 3 of them, and it's just fun to you know, it puts things in perspective. They don't care if you win, they don't care if you lose.
I didn't say
they just want to hug after the game, and sometimes that puts it in perspective when you don't do as well as you hope. That you know what, does it really? I mean, of course we're all competitive and we want to win.
Sometimes it's you that wants the hug.
That's right. Yeah, it needs the hug. That's right. Sometimes you need a big old hug.
Chip, appreciate the time. It is always fun to visit with you and talk about Coldwater football. Chip Otten, the head football coach here at Coldwater, our guest this week. And that wraps up this edition of First Person Again, sponsored by the Precision Strip Company in Minster. You've been there probably a few times yourself. And their support of everything that we do here on PressProsMagazine.com. Until next time, we wish all of you a great football season coming up here. Enjoy a game this weekend. Thank you for your support of what we do each and every day on PressProsMagazine.com. We'll see you then with another edition of First Person.